The Young and the Restless spoilers in Nice, the string of mysterious deaths continues, each one more disturbing than the last, leaving the residents in a constant state of unease and fear. What was once a peaceful, picturesque locale now feels suffocating, as each passing day brings more unanswered questions and more chilling uncertainty. Every death sends ripples through the community, leaving the question hanging in the air: who will be the next victim? Is there a killer lurking among them, or is there something darker at play? As the tension escalates, one person who stands at the center of this escalating storm is Audra. A woman with a deep-seated grudge against Victor, her frustration and anger have pushed her to a dangerous brink. Audra is determined to settle the score with Victor, and she's been devising elaborate plans of her own. She knows the risks, perhaps even revels in them, but her rage blinds her to the consequences. Audra is prepared to take extreme measures, regardless of what she stands to lose in the process. But as fate would have it, her actions would lead to her tragic end. Audra, a woman caught between vendettas and ambition, meets an untimely death in a way that leaves everyone stunned. The details are almost too grim to believe: no signs of struggle, no traces to lead investigators in any particular direction. It's as though she vanished from the world, her life snuffed out in an instant, leaving nothing but confusion and horror in her wake. The police quickly zero in on Victor as a suspect. After all, Audra had made her grievances with him well known, and the stakes had grown higher in recent months. But Victor, ever the elusive figure, vehemently denies any involvement. "I never killed anyone," he asserts, his voice unwavering, as he stands before the authorities, facing them with an air of defiance. But does that mean he is completely innocent, or is there a more sinister angle to consider? Could he have hired someone to do his bidding? After all, in a world where power and influence rule, it's not unthinkable that Victor could employ someone to eliminate his enemies from the shadows. The complications only grow from there. As the investigation deepens, the lines between friend and foe blur. Victor's reaction to the accusations raises more questions than answers. Was he merely deflecting blame, or was his anger truly genuine? Audra's death is one more layer in a growing pile of mystery and suspicion that threatens to collapse everything around him. While the police search for clues, the fear that this may be only the beginning of a darker conspiracy hangs over everyone like a dark cloud. Meanwhile, Kyle, who had once been closely tied to Audra, finds himself grappling with emotions he didn't expect. His shock is palpable, and beneath the surface of his grief, there's a sense of guilt that he can't shake. He reflects on his past interactions with Audra, how their relationship had shifted, how things were left unsaid. He wonders whether things might have turned out differently if he had intervened sooner, or if he had known how deeply her vendetta with Victor would lead her down such a perilous path. In his mind, Audra's death marks a profound loss, not just for her, but for him as well. The entire town of Nice is on edge. What was once a small, quiet place known for its sun-kissed beaches and idyllic streets is now a hotbed of fear and suspicion. Everyone is looking over their shoulder, wondering who will fall next. It's not just the residents of Nice who feel the heat, even those who thought they were far removed from the chaos find themselves drawn into this dark web of deceit and danger. As the authorities investigate deeper, more secrets are unearthed, secrets that tie people together in ways they never imagined. Victor's role in the entire mess may be far more complicated than anyone realized. Did he truly have a hand in Audra's death, or was he the one being played by someone else in a much larger game? With tensions at an all-time high, the residents of Nice are forced to confront uncomfortable truths about themselves and each other. The investigation into Audra's death will test the limits of loyalty, family, and justice. Everyone's motives are called into question, and no one is above suspicion. The aftermath of her tragic demise will change the course of many lives, sparking a chain of events that will leave scars on those involved for years to come. As the mystery unravels, it becomes clear: Nice will never be the same again. In the city of Nice, the once serene surroundings have become a breeding ground for suspicion, paranoia, and unspeakable tragedies. A string of mysterious deaths has left the residents gripped by fear, each new event amplifying the unease that already looms over the town. The most recent death, Audra's, has thrown the community into chaos, with whispers of a killer on the loose and everyone fearing that they might be next. The unanswered questions linger in the air like a heavy fog. Who is the next victim? Who can be trusted? And, perhaps the most chilling question of all, who is the shadowy figure responsible for these crimes? Audra's death is not just another tragedy. It's the catalyst for a series of dangerous games that no one can escape. The circumstances surrounding her demise are strange, almost too perfect, no traces, no clues, nothing but the shock and horror that have left everyone scrambling for answers. What should have been a straightforward investigation is quickly turning into a dark and twisted mystery, and as the pieces of the puzzle start to fall into place, everyone begins to realize that the truth is far more complicated than they ever imagined. At the center of this web of intrigue stands Claire. Though on the surface she appears to be just another player in this high-stakes drama, her role in Audra's death is anything but simple. Claire is no fool. She's not the type to jump to conclusions or act without thinking. Instead of the impulsive, reckless behavior that so many of the others have shown, Claire is calculating, waiting for the right moment to strike. She knows what's at stake, and she understands the power of the situation she finds herself in. But there is something deeper at play here. Her motivations are not driven by personal gain but by the need to restore balance, especially when it comes to Kyle. Kyle, a man whose loyalty and emotions have often led him down dangerous paths, finds himself at the center of Claire's plans. She sees in him both a weakness and a strength, and she knows exactly how to exploit that. To Claire, Kyle's erratic behavior and unstable emotions are a ticking time bomb. It's clear to her that if Kyle isn't snapped out of his spiraling descent, he might very well become the next victim, or worse, an unwitting accomplice in a much larger conspiracy. And so, Claire takes matters into her own hands. Her meeting with Victor is not just a random encounter, it's a carefully orchestrated move to manipulate Kyle into doing what she believes is right. But Victor, ever the mastermind, is not easily played. Unlike Claire, he sees the world in terms of power and control, and he's not easily swayed by emotional appeals. His focus is singular: Genoa City. After everything that has happened, after the threats, the power struggles, and the relentless chaos that has engulfed his life, Victor is determined to return to his roots, to reclaim what is rightfully his. The recent death of Audra, someone he believed was a mere nuisance, is not something that shakes him to his core. In fact, he barely gives it a second thought. Victor's indifference to Audra's death speaks volumes about his character. He sees her death as a casualty of a world he's long since come to dominate, a world where power is the only currency that matters. In his mind, she was never a real threat, and her absence changes nothing. He has bigger fish to fry, and Genoa City awaits him with open arms. But there's more to the story than Victor realizes. His disregard for Audra's death may be what blinds him to the deeper dangers that are lurking, waiting for him to slip up. His arrogance, his belief that he is untouchable, may very well be his undoing. But as Victor and Claire cross paths, a chilling realization begins to take shape. Neither of them is the killer, yet they find themselves caught in a deadly game, each one suspecting the other, but neither knowing the truth. The question arises, if not Claire and Victor, then who? The killer remains out of sight, their motives unclear, their identity shrouded in mystery. It's as though the killer has mastered the art of deception, carefully orchestrating each death and leaving behind nothing but confusion and terror. One person who has been under suspicion for some time is Carter. Carter, a man with a shadowy past and questionable alliances, has always operated in the periphery, never fully aligning himself with any one group. His motivations have always been difficult to read, and now, in the wake of Audra's death, his actions are raising more than a few eyebrows. Could he be the one responsible for ending her life? His ability to move through the shadows, to keep his cards close to his chest, makes him a prime suspect. But even as the rumors swirl, the evidence against him is circumstantial at best. His connection to Audra is tenuous at best, and while his past actions may suggest a willingness to go to extreme lengths, nothing concrete links him to the crime. But the lack of evidence doesn't absolve him. Carter's mysterious past, his ties to the underworld, and his ability to manipulate those around him make him a dangerous figure in this increasingly complex game. His guilt, or innocence, remains to be seen, but his role in the unfolding drama cannot be ignored. However, if Carter is not the killer, then who is? The real question isn't just who killed Audra, but why? What secret did she uncover that was worth silencing her for good? What information did she possess that made her such a threat to those in power? The investigation into Audra's death is slowly revealing a larger conspiracy, one that ties together many of the town's most influential figures. The more Claire and Victor dig into the mystery, the more they realize that this is not just about one woman's life, it's about power, control, and the lengths people will go to protect their secrets. The plot thickens as more questions arise. What did Audra know? Who else is involved? And most importantly, who is behind the murders that have rocked the town? The tension in Nice is palpable, with each passing day bringing new revelations and deeper mysteries. The residents are on edge, wondering who will be the next victim and who they can trust. As the investigation unfolds, one thing becomes clear: the killer is closer than anyone realizes. The assassin remains hidden, a ghost in the shadows, watching, waiting. But the killer's time is running out. The walls are closing in, and soon, the truth will come to light. Will it be Carter? Victor? Claire? Or someone else entirely? The people of Nice must brace themselves, for the final revelation is sure to be a shock. The true identity of the killer will change everything, and no one will ever be the same again. In the end, what started as a simple death has spiraled into a full-fledged mystery, one that will reshape the lives of everyone involved. The stakes have never been higher, and as the killer's identity looms ever closer, the residents of Nice must confront their own darkest secrets, for they may hold the key to solving this terrifying puzzle. But time is running out, and the killer is closer than anyone knows. The clock is